Your Fire, a weekly podcast with Meena Puri, an Ayurvedic practitioner and spiritual teacher who brings the ancient, time-tested wisdom of Ayurveda in this time of great upheaval and global ascension to inspire you to the next level of your spiritual evolution. She will discuss all topics related to your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you ready to be free of all suffering and soar to your heart's calling? Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this episode of our Friday Soul Talks. I wanted to thank everyone who attended our first webinar that happened this Tuesday on looking into the deeper world of our emotional health. So I do want to share with you that the webinar was really well attended. We had high registration, close to 70 people. We had a lot of replays. And most importantly, what made me really happy is that we got such positive feedback. So it really felt good to share information that people needed. It really felt good to connect with people and to know that the information that I'm sharing is much needed, it's well received, and it's benefiting so many people. So thank you so much for attending. If you did attend and if you would like to add a feedback in the comment section, I would love to hear that. And if you did not attend, I know our replays comes down today. We had extended it, after getting many requests to more than 24 hours. It gets extended to end of the day today. So if you would like to get the replay of my first webinar of the Intelligence of Emotion webinar series, just share your information in the comment section and I will talk to my tech person and see how we can make the replay available for you. So now I would like to invite you to our next free webinar, which is happening again on Tuesday, June 21st, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the topic we're going to be talking about is the wisdom of our triggers. And we're going to look at what's triggering, why it is triggering, the wisdom behind. Just like we talked about the intelligence of the emotions, there's a wisdom, a cosmic wisdom to the triggers. We will explore that and get to know your own unique pattern of response. We do have a pattern of response. Not everyone responds the same way to the triggers. So however we respond in one situation in life, many times we end up responding the same way in other areas of our life. So when we kind of understand that pattern, what I tend to be, what my tendency is, it just gives us that much more insight and deeper understanding of you so we can heal the emotional upheaval, so we can heal everything at the root cause and where it originated from. So do register for the Wisdom of Triggers happening next Tuesday. All right, so on to our, this is going to be again, every topic is related. When it comes to our inner energetic psychological world, one thing is not separate from the other. Everything is intrinsically linked. And like I mentioned before, we can talk about these topics forever because everyone is so unique. There are as many situations, as many scenarios, as many experiences, as many people. Okay, so this is where I'm just, going to talk about the general things that may be applicable to many, many people. So the topic that comes to mind is anger. And what I came across this week is the fear of expressing anger. So with the fear of expressing anger, we tend to suppress it. So, what is the fear? Thank you so much for joining. Whoever is watching, would love to for you to say hello. And so, anger, right? Is there someone in the audience or anyone who's going to be watching this has not experienced anger, right? So, and I remember one of my teachers, he said, if you can't find any anger, you're not looking hard enough, right? So, when I think back to childbirth, that baby who comes out of the womb, I wonder if there's a little bit of anger, like, why did you put me through this? Why did I get separated from my creator? Everything was wonderful, safe, provided, protected. Why did you kick me out of that safe world into this unknown world? Right? So I think anger is anger is built in. The reason why it is built in, because anger helps us mobilize everything that is buried deep within. When we express anger, the real emotion underneath gets dislodged, right? So, on the surface, how many times in your life there have been situations where on the surface we just at something get very, very angry? But what I have found, what's buried beneath the anger is the pain. So I think buried beneath the anger is pain, and we don't want to unleash that pain. Again, in general, we have a fear of feeling the emotions deeply because of many, many reasons. One of the reasons is, what if I end up first of all, it's not pleasant to feel pain, right? And then the fear is, what if I get eaten alive or overwhelmed with this pain? What if I go down the deep dark hole and I don't know how to come out, right? And what if there's so much else in there that's going to be revealed to me and I don't know quite how to handle it? So there's a lot of fear in that's one of the reasons why we fear feeling deeply what we feel, because we don't know what to do with all of that. And this is why we are having these conversations, so we begin to get familiar with our emotional world and we begin to understand how to handle it. We begin to become comfortable in navigating our mental and emotional world. So one of during my practice, what came up was, why can't I express anger? Why don't I feel anger towards this person in my family? And many times, if there is abuse or neglect in the childhood, many times if there is a lack of safety, and all of these things in our world when we are growing up. So when we feel, so there's fear about expressing anything negative to those who take care of us, our caretakers, our parents. There's guilt. Then there is, wow, if I talked about that, if I actually expressed that, am I being disloyal? If I reveal that, will that hurt my parents? What about all the good things that they did? So, what's important to understand that part of navigating our emotional world is the ability to hold many contradictory emotions all at once. It's difficult, right? Can we still love our caretakers, but can we feel anger at certain things? So that's the wisdom of the emotions. That's the intelligence. That's the emotional maturity. Of course we can. It is seldom that we only have one constant feeling towards those we love or we care about. Because in as part and parcel of being human, every now and then somebody is going to, for lack of a better word, screw us over. Not intentionally always, because they're human. Every now and then somebody's going to make a mistake, say or do something hurtful to you. And obviously, who is that has the power to hurt you? Those who love you the most. Mostly our family members, right? Somebody who's really close to us. Other people don't know us enough to hurt us or do anything about us, right? So the emotional maturity is, are we able to hold the love and the anger at the same time? That's the ability that we need. Because if we don't do that, what we do, we push all of the intense negative emotions under the loyalty, under what we should feel, and it doesn't serve us in the long run. So it's it's a painful or re-injures us when we talk negative about our caretakers, or we talk negative about anybody we love deeply, because we fear putting them in the bad light. So, but if we understood that being human, there's no bad light in being human. So, part and parcel of being human is that we're going to make mistakes. We also may hurt others. I'm sure that we do, not knowingly, but we're human. We cannot always, in this constant way of living, even the most enlightened people, they have a shadow, the darker side. The more light we have, the more enlightened we become, actually, bigger becomes the shadow. So that's why I always say that it's good once in a while to fall flat on your face. It's freeing, right? And I tell my clients or students that don't ever let me get away with anything, because that's how we come back to being human, come back to who we are. So the suppression of anger towards someone we love, it actually creates the inner somatic contraction. Just because we do not express an emotion verbally or in the feeling sense, it's getting expressed, it's getting lodged somewhere in the body. So nothing good ever comes out of suppressing what we feel. I think the confusion may be that just because we feel something, we have to express it. So I want to clarify that when we are expressing it, it's really not necessarily we are expressing it to anybody else. It's more about acknowledging. Can you acknowledge that you felt anger? It's really to ourselves. Can we acknowledge that we feel anger towards this person, towards my parent, towards my caretaker? So it's not, emotions are not meant to burn others. That's why they're intelligent. They are asking you to contemplate, to look at what your deep experiences are. Can you acknowledge those experiences? And then we go through the process of metabolizing those experiences to heal. That's the whole point of it. And once we have healed, coming from a healed place to have a conversation with those who created the emotion is a totally different thing than to feel the emotion raw and just right then and there express it to someone else. That's called confrontation, emotional reaction. We haven't thought it through. We talked about that, right? The confrontation and just see, it's like the emotional regurgitation to another person. No one benefits from that. So it's always a good idea to, when you feel an intense reaction coming up, is it to tune into that. What is it that you're feeling? Where are you feeling it? Can you name it? Can you add language to your experiences? So acknowledging that I really felt angry, but all these years I kept on being loyal to my caretaker, my parent, because they were so good in so many other things. That's all true. But I was so angry, but I didn't want to express the anger at all the pain they caused me as well. Because if I did, then what about their goodness? If I express the anger towards them about this particular thing, how are they no longer the good parent that I followed around? Are they no longer the mother or the father that I worshipped and put on a pedestal, that I'm so close to, that I love so much? So it's this fear that keeps us not acknowledging what it is that we feel. So the land of emotional immaturity is to be able to feel contradictory emotions and say, isn't this interesting? And that's always the case. We don't, we seldom just feel one set of emotion, right? um, there's always other things that are trailing behind. But, we are afraid to feel anything unless we feel really, really good. That's what we have been taught. Unless you feel really good, all the other things that you're feeling, just suppress it. Just ignore it. It's not good for you. Here, eat chocolate instead. We talk ourselves out of it. So it's that what we have pushed away, pushed down, haunts us in the future, right? That's what we get triggered with. So everything that we push down, everything we do not want to acknowledge, um, it's not gone anywhere. It's not in your conscious mind, but it's sitting in the subconscious mind, and that's what we get triggered with. Right. So when it comes to triggers, it's never about who's triggering me, what's triggering me. Rather, it is what is being triggered within you. Because everyone will get triggered with the different things, depending on what's going on, depending on what they had suppressed. So, um, so the point is to be able to acknowledge the real emotions that you are feeling. If it is anger, acknowledging it and then expressing the anger. In expressing the anger, we never need the object of our emotion. We don't need to express it to the person who caused the anger. We need to release it within ourselves. I think I shared one of these examples that I had one client, she smashed all the old dishes on the garage floor. And she really feel that emotion, that anger unleash within her. Throwing punches in the air, going for a walk, making up cuss words, punching a plastic bag or pillow or something like that. So it really is the anger, the need to release that emotional energy within you. So what that does, you're not carrying it. You're not carrying it in your emotional garbage bin. So it's not sitting there waiting to form disease or lodge in your organs and tissues. Secondly, when you unleash that anger, we see clearly, right? So, what do I mean by that? Anything that is intense many times can blind us. You know how the passion, we get so blinded by that emotion, we can't help it. So when we get blinded, we can't see clearly. But when we release the surface emotion, even that we had suppressed, when we release that, we begin to see clearly what's underneath it, right? So the anger that came towards that caretaker or a parent, what is underneath that anger could be the pain of, seriously, you could hurt me this way? Seriously, you couldn't find another way? Seriously, you could not handle it differently? Right? It's the pain. And it's that pain we don't want to feel because it stings, right? But To feel it is to heal it. When we feel it, it's gone forever. When we feel it, feel the pain, and then we can go through the acceptance, the forgiveness, and finding the gift in that emotion and all of that. We can heal it. We can go through the process. But without acknowledging that it's even there, we bypass the process and we, in our mind, say, no, they did what they knew to do. They were just trying to love me or discipline me or protect me. And so we talk ourselves, and that those things are all true. But it's also true what you experience. It's also true that you experienced anger, pain, and all of that. So we talk ourselves out of it, and we feel good in the head, and we're thinking, no, I don't want to talk about it. It's all good. It's really not a big deal, right? But the body tells you a different story. The body keeps the score. So that's kind of like bypassing the whole healing process. So we are healing mentally where we are actually not healing deeply. So we are rationalizing the healing, we're talking ourselves out of it. So everything that the process that we bypass, um, it comes up as triggers. We get triggered with it. So, and it's not just about getting triggered. So I do want you to pay attention that when we bypass anything, remember energy. Our energy, we are energetic being. We have a physical body. Everything non-physical is energetic, because when we talk about emotions and thoughts and experiences, you can't show them to me, but they're there. So there's the energy of it, right? So our energy gets sick before our body does. So when we're talking about healing the physical ailments at the root level, we're talking about healing the energy. So in the energy, I mean experiences, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and whatnot. It's all energy, right? So when we are not acknowledging or navigating this darker inner world, the darker subconscious, to become conscious of what's going on, it runs the show anyways. 90% of our life is operating subconsciously. So it's running our life anyways, behind the scene. When we put it in front of us, when we become conscious of it, it's not running our life. It's not causing us sickness. It's not causing that burden on our psyche that we carry with us day in, day out. So that's the wisdom of it, to bring it in front of us. What's sitting deep into the dark waters of the subconscious, when we bring it into the light, we are unburdening ourselves, we are beginning to heal. So, in the three-dimensional world that we are moving away from, moving into the fifth dimensional world, we did a lot of the work mentally. We're very strong in the mind, so there's a mental flow. We rationalize, we explain, we mentally make everything okay. There's nothing wrong with that, except it's not a complete process. It's only wrong when it doesn't work, when we know that, oh, there's something more to that. So we're coming from a world where we did everything mentally. We healed mentally, but we never experienced the healing. We forgave mentally, but we actually never experienced the forgiveness. We let go mentally, but we never experienced the letting go. So that's the fifth D, that's the fifth dimensional world, where the heart energy, the heart flow is integrating with the mental flow. So that's where the healing takes place. So that's a when we are in the heart space, we are into an expanded world, expanded um, level of consciousness, expanded awareness, and it's a whole new state of being, and that's the world we are entering. And that's why these conversations are must, because we need to understand how to navigate our mental and emotional and energetic world, right? We need to tune into that. So, um, what else? So, what I have done is I have curated a course. It's a small course that I will share with you um, at the end of the webinar, the second webinar that's happening on Tuesday. So it's a course where I'm starting to teach the book. So if you know my book, Wake Up and Heal, 6 Steps to Emotional Freedom, um, it's a small course so people can get started. Anybody can get started. It's not overwhelming. It's not going to scare you. It's not going to cause pain to you, but it's going to give you experience. Is my courses are always filled with experiential work, whether it's reflection exercises, meditations, and group work, and very interactive. So it's for you to experience the healing, experience the release of anger, experiencing what's underneath it, because those experiences stick. So it's really the experiences that turns the knowledge into wisdom, and it's the experiences that we need to transform. Because when we look at the information world, we have so much of it. We have so much information available to us, and it's a good thing. But can it also be an overwhelming thing when we don't know what to do with that emotion? So, you to tell people, oh, you need to heal that. They're like, what do you mean? You need to feel this. What do you mean feel it? Like, how do I heal it? What do you mean feel the anger? What does that mean? So, my work is to take you into what it means to feel and how do we release these darker negative energies from the tissues, from the body memory, from the soma of the body, from the soma, the essence of the physical body. So I will be sharing the details of that on the second webinar. So my question to you is, how do you, when and where do you have you experienced anger? Have you suppressed anger towards something or someone? And if so, why? Does it seem to bubble up? Because when we suppress something, it's going to show up. It's going to bubble a little bit here, a little bit there. We're like, no, 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 it's not that. We push it down more. The more we push it down, it's going to bubble up some more, right? It's the action reaction. So is that your experience? And why, if there is anger, why there is fear to acknowledge it? And what do you do with it? And my question also is, what's triggering you lately? Something is, right? It's kind of like, of course, everyone is getting triggered. There's so much in the external that's, uh, in a way, helping us by triggering us to bring to that conscious level what's been buried always in the subconscious level. So, it's how you look at it. So these times actually are profoundly transformative time, because the material, the experiences to transform are presented to us in, big dosage, in heavy duty overload dosage. So if we can, tune into even one thing that is affecting you, it's an opportunity for us, for you to, for me to, for us to know what is that within me. So when we explore that, what's happening, we are expanding wholeness. We are becoming whole. When we are able to hold anger and love at the same time, that's holism. That's how we're becoming whole. Wholeness is not just all the good stuff, but all the bad stuff is out there. No, wholeness is about the one flow of love where everything and every part of you gets to coexist. Every part of you gets to be on the table. The bad, the good, the angry part, the loving part, the overwhelmed part, the confused part, all of you get to be here. So that's the holism, that's holistic. We are becoming expanded and whole to be able, when we are able to hold everything together. And I think that's the world that we are coming from. Like we shy away from having that conversation. because we feel weird. We feel like, oh my God, what if the relationship or the friendship, goes away? What if the person now sees me in a different light than they used to see me, right? So there's all of this, mental chatter that goes on behind it. But, when we fess up in a way, when we become emotionally mature, you know what we're doing? We're giving the other person a chance to adult up. We're giving the other person an opportunity to be mature, to rise to the occasion as well, right? If we keep on hiding, maybe we are undermining somebody else's emotional strength. Maybe they'll surprise you. So take the first step. The first step is for you to be in touch with what it is that you're feeling. And one of the a good exercise that you can do, just like I recommend to people that they prepare, that they do for a week a journal of mood and food. What are you eating? When are you eating it? What was your emotion when you're eating it, right? So food is, we what we're eating and what we think we are eating, there's a big discrepancy. So same thing with, keeping a little journal of our emotional world. What is it that you're feeling the range of the day today? What was this day today? Was it okay? Was it exciting? Was it disappointing? Was it hurtful? So do it for 7 days, 10 days, 30 days. And day two, what are you feeling? Day three, what are you feeling? When you do this for enough days, you'll begin to see, if you begin to see that, oh my God, um, 25 out of the 30 days, I'm feeling a certain emotion. I'm negative, I'm angry, I'm exhausted, I don't feel confident, I feel like no one likes me. I feel abandonment. I feel betrayal. I feel hurt. Whatever the emotion may be, whatever language that you want to add to what you're feeling. And it's like, do the math. If 25 out of 30 days is everything negative, then that's a clue that it's time to look a little deeper and do the healing work. So that's always a good idea, because what we think, what we're feeling, and what we truly are feeling are two different things. All right. So with that, let me know what your biggest takeaway was this from today's talk. I'd love to hear the comments. And so don't forget to register for next Tuesday, June 21st. It's Summer Solstice Day. It just happened that way. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is below the video, so go ahead and register. And even if you can't register, if you're like in a different time zone, register anyways, because then you'll get the replay. And if you do want to get the replay from the first one, the replay comes down today. If you can share your contact information with me, I'll see what I can do with my tech person. Okay, thank you so much. So have yourself a wonderful, lovely day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for listening to Igniting Change, Finding Your Fire. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we look forward to being with you next week.